Hello and welcome to How Does Your Garden Grow Hop? I am Tracy with Artful Creations by Tracy, and April is National Garden Month, so we are sharing creations that are in full bloom. We hope you find each project as beautiful as the next. At the top of the description box, you will find the link to the next person in the hop. I hope you take time to watch all the videos in this hop as we love all your comments and thumbs up. If you aren't already a subscriber, I hope you will consider subscribing and click on that little bell so you won't miss any of my uploads. You can also use the hashtag Garden of Crafts to find all of the videos in this hop. Now, some of us might be offering prizes on our channels, so be sure to pay attention and check out my description box for more details. And speaking of prizes, I have offered 2 prizes for the last hop, Would You Be Mine, back in February. Unfortunately, I never did post the winners from that. I do have 2 winners, and I will be getting in touch with them soon. Now, onto my project. I will be creating a garden journal using digital images from a couple of digital kits from a company called Tailor Made for You. I purchased the English Tea Garden set a while ago, and I'm very excited to finally use it. The majority of this journal will be made from that kit. All of the products I used will be linked down below. Now, I did use my Cricut machine to cut out all the ephemera, and then I printed out the journal pages using Publisher. I kept the size of the pages just as they were to make it easier, even though you can resize them to anything you need. Off camera, I have already glued 2 of my pages back to back together, and now I'm going to glue my 3rd one down to show you. I am using Bearly Art glue, and the reason why I chose to use this glue is that it has a longer dry time so that if I don't match them up perfectly, I can pull it apart and glue them back down together. Once I have my pages glued down together, I will then trim off any parts that don't match up perfectly using my paper trimmer. And this way also it helps make the entire booklet a little more symmetrical and even. If you're wondering what cutter I am using, it is a Disc System cutter by Carl. I've had it for many, many years. Now I've already allowed my pages to dry, and then I creased the middles, and now we're going to go ahead and embellish the inside. I'm going to put this together. Here's my cover, and here are the pages that are all together. And what I'm going to do next is going to take those smaller journal pages that I printed out. I put score tape on one side, and then I'm going to press that onto the top. So now I have more journal pages for the decorative pages. As you see, I'm just going to go ahead and glue down the bottom page to the decorative page. I guess that's what I would call it, the decorative page. In any event, I'm going to glue that down, and I'm going to make sure that the others line up properly with it. So I will bring in a ruler and just match it up so that they look even, because I want this to be a nice presentable journal for recording your flowers. And I'll just bring that in right there, line it all up perfectly. Things get in my way, I have to move them out of the way, you know. Just want it to be really nice. So there we go, press it down. And then I'll do that one more time for the other page. Now in this kit was this piece of paper that will be used for the outside binding of my journal, which I will add later. And I'm going to now create all the decorative pieces with this wonderful ephemera. However, my camera died, and therefore I didn't get to show you all the assembly on how I made this cute tag. So I'm going to show you what I did. I used my Crop-A-Dile to add the hole and set the eyelet. And then I am showing you, I'm showing you here the eyelet and how to use the Crop-A-Dile. But in the end, I'm going to make another tag, and you will see this all again. I also used my this raffia that I repurposed, and I just kind of coiled it around the tag, added my pieces. Here's a flower that I used this with Distress ink, that's squeezed lemon ink to kind of make it match. And then I have my EK Success Punch that I made or I used to make those little notches on my tag. Now I'm not going to add the tag now. What I'm going to do is just kind of add some more of the ephemera and some embellishments to my journal. I'm showing you that I did already glue down the tag that did come with the kit, and oh my goodness, lost for words. Oh, and added those little other tags. I guess they're all kind of tags in a way, to in that made it into a pocket. There, I got it out. Now, the other thing I'm showing you here is I have these really cute antique looking paper clips, those round ones. I really love them. I don't even know if they're still available, but I really like them. And I'm just adding those into the book for more spots to pull out and make it more interactive, so that you can add notes to it, or diagrams, whatever you want to add to those little pieces. I just find them to be extremely fun elements. And here I am now going to glue down that piece of paper. I almost put it upside down, and you don't want to make sure, or you want to make sure that you don't do that. I'm sure we've all made those mistakes before, but yeah, the image looks better this way, so I'm going to glue it down there. And I'm going to let that dry. I'll set that aside and let that dry while I finish doing more embellishments to my journal. Now, I found some other great flowers that were in my stash that I'm going to use on this journal. I tried to look up what kind of flower they are, but there are so many 4-petal flowers, I have no idea how to distinguish them from the rest. You have no idea how many. I mean, there's hundreds. Now, that being said, this is one of the reasons why I think it's such a great idea to keep a nice little journal of your flower garden, because there are so many colors, let alone varieties. How can you keep them all straight? Now, have had these flowers for a very long time in my stash, and they are actually on foam. However, I don't trust them, so I will add glue to the bottom just to make sure that they do not fall off. And I did have small and large in the same variety, so I used them both. Now I will use my bone folder, and I'm going to crease that cover, and then pull out my jute twine that I have to bind it together. I'm going to show you that in a second. And I want to make sure you use quite a bit of that. But before I do that, I do want to adhere my tag down to the front of the cover. And I thought, I like dimension. If you've watched any of my other videos, you should know I love dimension. So I'm going to add foam tape to the back of my tag, and of course that will give the dimension that I'm looking for. Now, the tool that I use to pull off that release tape is called the Silhouette Spatula, and I just love that tool. It is so perfect for pulling off that release tape and holding down your paper. I love the tool. I used to use tweezers for this, and then I discovered this, and I just won't go back to doing tweezers because this thing is perfect. I will definitely make sure to link that down below. And I also think I do add glue to this foam tape as well, even though it's new foam tape. I just like to be extra secure. I don't want anything falling apart, especially when you've put a lot of time and effort into it. You just want to make sure everything sticks really well. And so there we go, adding that beautiful tag that I created off camera because I thought the camera was rolling. All right, back to this twine. Now, I know there are only 3 pages in this album, and that this twine really is not going to be super secure. I mean, you could pull them out from this twine, but you know, because it's only 3 pages, I didn't think that was that big of a deal. What you want to do is just make sure that it's nice and taut. That's the important thing. And actually, in the end, I end up taking this all off anyway because I decided that I wanted to add some charms to the binding, and you'll see that in the ending pictures. But the important thing is that just make it taut, and then I kind of twisted it around, and I believe made some kind of a knot of some sort, maybe a square knot or something. But you're not going to end up seeing that anyway because, like I said, you'll see what I did here, but then I undid it all in the end because it was just, you know, I wanted to add something else to it, and I thought of it afterwards. Now I'm going to flip through my journal, just checking everything out. And if you've ever watched any of my other videos when I create with digital kits, then you may know that I really like to use everything that I printed. I don't like to have too many leftover pieces. So I do have some leftover pieces that I'm going to use, and I'm going to create another tag for the back of the book. And this is where you will see me use those tools that I tried showing you earlier in the video with the Crop-A-Dile and my, well, actually, I don't think I used the notch because I already notched it, but I am going to trim this down just a little bit. I thought it was a little bit too wide. And then I'm going to do the eyelet. So that's the Crop-A-Dile, making my hole. Then I'm going to insert the eyelet and use that Crop-A-Dile to just squeeze it down. If you are unfamiliar with eyelets and how they work, they just really make a finished look to a tag or anything that you want to feed ribbon or twine or, you know, thread through. It just makes it so it won't tear your paper. Now with this raffia, I'm gluing it down because it is not the paper raffia that you may be familiar with. It's more like a plasticky raffia, and if I didn't glue it down, then it would just slide up and kind of get all bunchy. So it was important that I just glue this down, and while I am gluing it, I'm trying to decide, you know, I want to make it look wrapped in different directions, and then you want to add your embellishments along the way so that they're kind of look like they're tucked into that raffia. And when I did finish this tag, I use every bit of the ephemera except for one piece, and I really had a great idea for that piece. It's that one with the little circle in the middle. I thought I would make a little stamped image and put something in there, but I just couldn't make it fit on my journal where it just looked out of place no matter where I tried to put it. And so I had one left over. I don't think that's too bad, if you ask me. To finish off my tag, I take 2 pieces of the raffia, I line them up, and then I feed the middle of them through the back of the eyelet to the front. And then you're going to just pull them through, and this gives it a nice finished look on the outside, or I should say on the front side. And then I just kind of mess with the raffia there. I trim it down a little bit to give it some different lengths, and there you have it. Now I'm going to adhere the tag on the back just using some of that score tape instead of glue, and I didn't think it needed the foam tape for any dimension because of course it's the back of the book. So there we go. Now we're going to just flip through it one more time, and I hope you have found some inspiration to create a journal, maybe one for your flower garden or maybe a vegetable garden. And again, don't forget to check out the rest of the videos in the hop, and I hope you have a very blessed day.